Prologue. Derek sat staring at the wall in front of him. It was light green, almost the color of pea soup. He was sitting on the cold concrete floor. He really didn't see anything before him, and he really didn't feel anything beneath him. There were muffled sounds echoing from outside the thick walls and door of his cell, but he really didn't hear them. He was tired, but not in a physical way. He was trying to ignore the thrumming in his ears and the half-born thoughts assaulting his mind like a parasite. For the last year, he hadn't slept very much, and when he did, it was in short stints, shattered by horrific nightmares. He ate only when hunger overtook him. Trained as he was to go without eating under the most physically demanding of circumstances, any food brought to him was usually ignored. Each day was a routine. As a high-risk prisoner, he was in lockdown 23 hours per day. For 30 minutes, he would run a large circle around the gym as fast as he could until he was returned to his cell. Once he was back in his cell, he would do sit-ups, push-ups, and up-downs until he couldn't move. Then he would try to sleep. On this day, he was to be transferred to a maximum security prison. He had acknowledged that he had truly earned it. First, he had several federal sentencing guideline points against him just for his crime, and more added as he was a former Special Forces. Add to that several fights, including one with a guard, 2 escape attempts. Thus, he was on his way to the ultimate solitary confinement. To say that he was pissed is to say that the ocean is a hole full of water. It doesn't quite bring forth the entire scope of his reality. His crime was a result of carelessness on his part and not volition. Everything that happened afterwards was designed to make a spectacle of him. Chapter 1. Derek had been sitting in his seat staring out the window for a couple of hours, trying to drown out the thrumming in his ears. He hadn't really paid attention to the route the bus was taking, but he knew they were more or less traveling west. The bus was using state highways rather than the freeway. He was seated on the passenger's side, about in the middle. There were 3 other inmates in the bus, each seated opposite to the next and a few rows apart. The inmate at the front was scrawny, bald, and tattooed from head to toe. The inmate behind him was Latino or Hispanic, with a thick mane of hair and a big beard. The man behind Derek was rotund, showing signs of age, and had an air of self-importance. 3 guards and the driver were securely nestled in the cage, which separated criminal from cop. For about 30 minutes, the bus had been traveling a windy road carved out of a forest of trees, as thick as flies on either side of the road. Derek noticed a van pass the bus, and then he felt the bus swerve. Suddenly there was a commotion from the guards, a cacophony of cusses and half-shouted commands. Then there was a loud popping sound, and the bus slammed up and then down violently, which pulled hard against Derek's restraints. The smallest of the guards shouted back towards he and the others that they should keep quiet and stay calm, or something to that effect. Within 2 blinks of an eye, the bus slammed to a stop, causing it to jerk diagonally. The tattooed man was alive with feral excitement. He was clawing and biting at the air, yanking his restraints and screaming profanely. The bearded man's head was on a swivel, and it took Derek a couple moments to realize why. There was a van on either side of the bus, including front and rear. Just as one of the guards pulled a shotgun from the dashboard, shots rang out. Derek ducked instinctively. The barrage of gunfire lasted only a moment. This wasn't an assault. It was a jailbreak. Someone, not he, was about to be sprung from incarceration. Derek waited for a moment before bringing his head back up, and when he did, he saw a man on the other side of the cage standing over a crumpled mass of bodies. The man looked down at the heap, pointed the muzzle of his assault rifle downward just as it spit a flash of bullets. The sound echoed like a cannon in a hallway and left an acrid smell in the air.